What's going on, everybody? This is episode 10. I think we in episode 10 now. Episode 10 of the Microsoft recap. Got your host today, Mike Baker here. And as always, with me, got my man, Mike Bennett.
Yo,
What's going
yo,
on, bro?
what's going on, man? How y'all doing out there? How you doing, Mike?
Doing all right, man. I cannot complain, man. I don't have nothing to ever complain about. Um, but yeah, man, today we got a couple topics, man. Good couple topics. First topic that we're going to talk about is that maybe Microsoft's Xbox chief. I keep reading these titles weird. Um, First title is Microsoft's. This is like a tongue twister. Maybe Microsoft's Xbox chief didn't say the stupidest thing around about cloud gaming this week. Apparently, he must have said some stupid shit about gaming. Um, so we're going to talk about that. Next topic that we got is that Microsoft is going to combine its Windows client and hardware teams under Chief Product Officer uh, Panos Panay. Um, that might be a good deal for
Mm,
Microsoft. I've seen him talk about one of his talk about these new products, these Surface Neo, Surface Duos come out, and those his presentation nonetheless
yeah.
was pretty dope. And then the last topic that we want to talk about is Microsoft X Series, which is I guess the next gen, or Xbox X Series, which is the next version of the Xbox versus the PlayStation 5. Microsoft has one pretty huge advantage over Sony. Um, that's the subtitle. But yeah, let's talk about this first topic, which is that maybe Microsoft's Xbox chief didn't say the stupidest thing about cloud gaming this week. Um, their chief of or Xbox chief of marketing or just the chief of Xbox the company itself, which is technically a separate division of Microsoft. Phil Spencer, I know if you're a gaming head, a lot of y'all have heard of Phil Spencer. Y'all seen him and whatnot. He basically just like said something that may have been stupid, may have not been stupid, might have been one of those things that's kind of a forward thinking thought. But he basically said that when you talk about Nintendo and Sony, we have a ton of respect for them, but we see Amazon and Google as our main competitors moving forward. Basically saying that even though for the past 10, 20 years, Microsoft, Xbox has been out since what, 2000, right?
Yeah, 2000.
Basically,
Yeah, that's been 20 years. Wow, 20
yeah, it's
years.
been 20 years, 20 years, right? 2020 now, baby.
Man,
Yeah, that's
Master Chief
crazy.
was 20 years old.
Yeah,
Man.
exactly. Master Chief, right? But he's saying like after that, even though it's been 20 years of him going against Nintendo and Sony, they not even really his competitors anymore. It's two other companies that really haven't had any known history of being in the gaming platform, which is Amazon and Google. Saying that those two are his main competitors now, and I mean, it's one of those things people are saying that sounds dumb, especially coming from the chief of Xbox.
Right.
Um, Personally, on the article, there's a perspective on the article, and we're going to give y'all the links to it. But my perspective on it is, yeah, that's a perfect assumption. Like Nintendo and Sony are like, they are two great companies, and they do a lot of great things in the gaming space, and Sony in particular in the entertainment space. They have just gaming and movies and whatnot, but
Yeah.
um, ultimately, like that's not really what you know. Microsoft is a technology company, and they sort of goes beyond just creating good content, creating good entertainment.
Mm,
And when it comes to that concept, like that whole idea of the cloud is basically superseding what gaming is.
right.
And Amazon and Google, those are the other two competitors of the cloud space. So like if he's talking, I mean, if the idea of if gaming has a future, like Nintendo has no issue with like keeping a gaming community. Nintendo gaming community is probably the largest, one of the most
Most
fantastical,
season.
like
They
they're
the
most
most solid. Yeah.
yeah, they the most fanatical about their stuff. Like Nintendo gamers, they just like, yo, no matter what, I'm getting that Nintendo, that
Yeah.
Switch, that Game
For,
Boy, whatever.
And
I mean,
you'll never find a Zelda on an Xbox, or at least I don't know. But
yeah,
for
yeah,
since Nintendo's been alive, if, things have come to Nintendo, but Nintendo ain't never gone nowhere else.
yeah,
So
exactly.
they base it solid. But yeah,
They got their IP, they got their intellectual property, and can't nobody touch it. And then Mario, Zelda,
Ma-
Metroid.
yeah, I'm
I
about to say
mean,
Samus.
I mean, like the Super Smash Brothers, Pokemon, all that stuff, man. They basically are the Disney of gaming.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, they got it locked. They got it locked for real. And I mean, they have their world locked. Like
Mm,
Sony and Microsoft basically have been going back and forth about who is going to be the top dominant when it comes to like the AAA titles. But like
mm,
when it comes to those two consoles, you kind of put yourself in a different gamer space. The people tend to consider themselves pro gamers. They consider themselves in the same realm as like a PC gamer, whereas like a Nintendo game is a lot more open to the world. Like a lot more people will pick up and just play a Nintendo game. You have like party games and stuff like that.
right. Yeah.
But Sony and Microsoft tend to be like those hardcore gamers that got to play with that joystick with like 20 buttons on it.
Yeah.
I mean, so like it's a different world. So
It's a
uh,
gaming pad. Yeah.
yeah, it's just that the joystick. I mean, I'll be telling people like if you're not familiar with gaming, like you got to start off playing like Simon or something because like those four buttons, it's like 20 buttons on a joystick on a gamer controller now. Like it's 20. It's crazy for normal people to try to get adapted to it if they haven't just been learning how to play a game in the first place. And Nintendo has that smaller um, entry point. It's a lot easier for people to pick up a Nintendo game and
Pick
go.
up and play. Yeah, and then like you said, their IP. Like you're not gonna find like the story of the Zelda story and Mario or something like that. You're not gonna. That's like an original experience only that Nintendo can offer. You know what I mean?
Right,
I
right.
think that where this guy, what's his name, Phil Spencer, where he was coming at, is that where a lot of people. So the reason why they even call it, I think some people said that it was stupid. Of course, from the servers, they said that Google and Amazon, I think they said that Google Stadia has been a flop, and I'm looking forward to seeing
Yeah,
what that develops into because I think everybody has like a rough start. I don't know what it was like for Nintendo coming off, but that was like a new thing. Whenever you're doing something as new as that, you know what I mean, it can be shaky. But they writing off Google Stadia as a flop, and they're saying that Amazon haven't even gotten into doing games yet. But they're not really people who made that statement are not giving enough respect to the cloud space because
yeah, pretty
cloud
much.
the cloud is just like this new thing where people who have more power and has more like pull when it comes to cloud computing, everything surrounding just like cloud that's that type of technology. They are
Multiplayer.
yeah they have
That's
and
basically it.
because with these other platforms like with your Nintendo, like with your Sony, because they're not up on the cloud game like that. There's a whole lot of things that they haven't been able to capitalize on that Microsoft because they're IT company first, they're a technology company first, and they incorporated gaming subset into it. Like
Hmm.
because Nintendo and PlayStation not up on a game like that, they're missing out on some things, and be it that Amazon and Google have, they've jumped ahead and like have gotten space more gravitas on something that's going to be futuristic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like something that's already making its imprint. So when he made that statement, I didn't take it as that because I'm looking at it from a business stance. Like that makes a lot of sense. But the people said the same thing about Toys R Us and Value City. Like
yeah.
the Amazon, like,
Did the
because I
same thing
think
about about Netflix.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like they ain't going, they like, oh, they ain't going nowhere. They got this, and
That's a
but
little
I'm like,
channel.
yeah,
Like I mean, like you said, with the cloud is the main thing with that is like, I mean, is when you're talking about the game itself, and then I mean, wait, how do you get a game in the first place? You get a game either on a disc or you download it. If you're downloading it, more than likely you're getting it from the cloud in the first place.
right,
I mean, at that point, you got to separate, like similar to decentralized energy or like how they changed up the communications. You have your supplier and then you have your distributor. I mean, you have the product that you actually getting, and then you got the company that's giving you the product that you're getting. I mean, and with something like Nintendo with all their games and Sony with all their exclusives, like you can have that game and have it in the cloud. It doesn't. You don't have to go to a. That's why like a GameStop is dying because you don't
Right.
people don't buy games as
Yeah.
often anymore. They used to get ripped off all the time. You go get a game that was like $60. They try to give you $3.22. Like like
Right. Right.
GameStop had to go. Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
I mean, and
I seen a meme
downloaded.
about that too.
I
Oh, real
mean,
quick. No, I'm sorry. It reminded me of a meme when they said that it was like it was like GameStop was going out of business. Said they're going to go out of business for the next 22, the next like 22 months or something. They said, I'll take all of your stores for $3.15.
exactly, exactly. I mean, they get what they deserved on that. I mean, because they was definitely trying to make a profit and they was ripping off all the gamers for it. I mean, people over here still wanting to play those games. I mean, they'll sell a game and then 3 weeks later be like, damn, I wish I still had that game. And they done spent their $2.22. I
Yeah.
mean, like just bringing the number down every time. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of what happens. And like with the things of the cloud is basically just unlimited storage. You just don't have to think about it in that way. And the only thing you're really concerned with is having a good internet connection. And if you
That's
got
it.
an internet connection and you have whatever games and whatever account up there, then I mean that's basically it. Doesn't matter what console you're using, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, as long as you can get access to it, whether it be a phone or a computer or whatever, you got access to it.
And
And
what
Microsoft is trying to play that game.
I see too, and like, yeah, yes, I think this lines up for other stuff, man. Is that I think the reason why Phil Spencer he's brilliant for bringing that up is because what people don't know, be it like look at Amazon and Google. We're talking about we always bring this up, man. Like they have a lot, like a very big customer base. I mean,
Yeah,
Google, they their power is collecting a whole bunch of data, and and they make they literally made sustain their business off of advertising, alone, like an offering that
yeah,
service, meaning that they have so much data, so many people's data that they're able to like sustain their business, not even off of really selling the product. They sell some stuff here and there, like you pay $2 for like your storage in a year, some stuff like that. But no, they make their
hmm
money off of. So that goes to show that Google has a whole bunch of people. Same thing with Amazon, like for them to be able to take out these different titans in the industries, like you've seen that your Kate Moss go, your Value City go, all that stuff like that, and it's come from what Amazon has done by just the service they provide. Be it that they also these companies that been able to take other companies out of like business, and they
yeah,
also are in the cloud space. It's like, yo, that's the competition because they have, if they pick up gaming, they have all different types of people to market to, all different
yeah.
types of people to like
And
Nintendo.
Amazon is already like Twitch.
Yeah,
Amazon already owns Twitch, which is like the largest streaming service for gaming. So, I mean, it only makes sense for them to have a gaming platform so that they
yeah,
don't have to rely on like Sony and Xbox. I mean, usually that's what it always boils down to. They'll all start a business and then they try to see where they don't have to rely on certain companies. So then they try to cut the fat here or there, like
there you
Amazon with
go.
their shipping service. They was relying on FedEx and UPS until they were able to create their own shipping service. Now they don't need FedEx and UPS anymore, and it's sort of going to be probably the same process. Like
Yo,
they
delivery on Sundays changed the game. Like who's FedEx and who's
yeah,
UPS?
yeah, exactly, exactly. And I mean, that was part of it. Like you got to keep the money flowing, got to
Yeah.
keep the money moving. I mean, Amazon is already the largest platform when it comes to cloud anything right now. You can see that happen. Like if an Amazon server goes down, if Amazon like a data center goes down, you can see like Netflix going down, Twitter going down,
Yeah.
all these other services going down because Amazon Web Service went down somewhere.
Yeah.
So like Amazon is already pushing as much to everybody in the world as much as possible, and
Yeah.
you don't even have to you don't have to directly even use them to know, well, to not to know, but like you don't even have to use them to be affected by their services. So like that's just a given. And Google's playing third place with like cloud right now, but everybody knows that Google is like one of the top leaders with cloud technologies. So like it doesn't even they just because they don't have like a lot of customer base in their Google Cloud platform doesn't necessarily mean that they're not like a cloud leader when it comes to making things, because it's like damn near 8 to 10 different cloud businesses that they run that are like $1 billion, well, billion user services. So
Yeah.
like they definitely are going to be in this business, and they run YouTube, and there's so many people that be streaming gaming on YouTube as well. So um, yeah, I mean, I can see Amazon and Google being their top competitors. They're their competitors in other ways anyway, so it makes sense for them to just be their competitors in gaming because they know that Amazon and Google are about to get into gaming. So they're thinking ahead. I mean, I'm sure they're not neglecting Nintendo and Sony at all. I'm sure they definitely got their eye on them, but they definitely looking ahead with Amazon and Google, and it's rightfully so because that's they're technically in the same ballpark when you talk about development.
Right.
Let's go ahead and talk about this next one. This next topic that we got here is about Microsoft to combine its Windows client and hardware teams under Chief Product Officer Panos Panay. Um, this is what they usually have to what on the subtitle said is reorg day, which means basically it's reorganization day. Um,
Mhm.
Microsoft always does this year, usually every year, where they're sort of reorganizing their company structure and the actual people that are going to be running certain departments. And in this case, they're talking about how uh, they're doing two things. In fact, they're merging their hardware and their software when it comes to Windows, the client, and um, the computers that they build. In particular, the Surface and those other two that are in the future, the Surface Duo and the Surface Neo. Um, but this guy, Panay, this Panos Panay, is
Panos. I don't
yeah
know.
Panos, Thanos and shit.
You're
But
right.
is the fact that he's coming in here and taking that position, and which is just it's a good look for Microsoft because if you've seen any of his like presentations as just as a marketer, you can see that like he has that finesse that people are looking for, and a company like Microsoft is looking for when it comes to selling the future of Microsoft products. And you know he's trying to come up with a new ideology uh, of using technology. Microsoft in general is sort of reorganizing the way that they think about technology and the way that they push that technology out to people. And he will be that guy. Similar, he has. I mean, every step that he take give you that feel of a Steve Jobs without
Mhm.
being a Steve Jobs ripoff, which is
Yeah.
clean. Like
He's making. I mean, he's there for a reason. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I mean it's a clean feel. Like when you listen to him talk, like I was sold when he showed me that duo and Neo. He ain't showed me personally, but I seen the presentation that they had on. Yeah, I mean
So
he
he
ain't come to
came to
my
the
house.
crib and
Yeah,
was
I
like, "Yo,
mean
look, this what we
look, that's
got.
my yeah, I mean
What
we
you
about to
think,
push
Mike?"
this next year. We're about to push this out next year. But I mean, he had they had the Microsoft Insight or whatever keynote conference that they had back in October, and when they showed he did the presentation for the Neo and the Duo, which are two new surfaces that are going to be both like dual screen. It's not going to be like the folding screens per se, but it's just going to be a dual sided uh, tablet and a dual sided like phone. And both of them just look clean and they pretty much work clean as possible. And then his presentation of it, when you watch the presentation, if you ever see the presentation, it's very much as clean of a presentation as you're going to get from anybody that's on stage, which is really all about the market and how you approach a product and how you actually sell that product to the audience.
Positioning. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely got that. It's a clean Wolf of Wall Street feel. Yeah, I mean, like without like I said, without being a Steve Jobs clone, he has a touch of that Steve Jobs vibe with him. Yeah, I
I
mean,
think they
some
put the right person in the play, bro. Because I mean, if you think about it, I mean, we have IT, we're in tech now. We come from a heavy tech
mhm,
background, and you think about it, bro. We and this in our experiences, a lot of the things we've run into have been trying to like pair up the right software and things we use for our development with like hardware capabilities.
yeah,
So that's one of the biggest hiccups. Not like I guess more on the techie side, one of the biggest things that you would encounter is like trying to figure out, just like what we've done with this, like trying to find the proper setup, right? Like if you have
hmm
you're trying to find the right laptops and the right, all these hardwares to use to pairing it up with the software you want to use. So be it that they are making this move of putting both of those under the same fold, I think it's just is brilliant because it gives, especially with Microsoft having the tenure in technology to do it, just gives them more of a better opportunity to like not have the hiccups and deliver a better user experience overall. And I like what he was saying down here in one like pick one of the quotes from the article. It says that where was it at? It says that uh, start with Panos when they said we believe that this will make the Windows client experience better for the entire ecosystem. And you're saying that because it says that to clear on their priorities and deliver the best end user experience from Silicon through operating systems. Basically, I ain't gonna go too much into it, but you're saying that by having those paired together, you're able to have more oversight of the projects they put in place for hardware and software. So,
Yeah, I
no,
mean
him,
they going to
yeah,
micro, they going to Apple route. I mean,
okay.
a lot of that
Ah,
is that's
I didn't think
that's
of it
that
that
Apple
way.
route. That's that Apple route for real. Like just it's all one product. I mean, they don't even you don't really have to worry about is it Mac OS X or whatever. You just be like, I got an Apple computer. I mean,
Mm,
and like I said, when they did that presentation, they presented all new hardware that they're gonna be coming out with. They came out with new laptops and new tablets. I think just Surface, the new Surface Pro 3s or whatever, and just straight up like the Surfaces along with regular laptops and like the new laptop that they have. I mean, that thing it looks just like it was made in the Apple warehouse. I mean, it's not the same mold and shape, but it's just as clean and it's all like aluminum and all that stuff. I mean, like they're trying to get out of that techness of how PCs used to be in the 90s and the early 2000s
2000s.
where you still pay attention to like the memory that you put in there and you got to worry about the processor and all this stuff, the motherboard and all that. They're trying to separate that and come up with a reinvention of their ideology, which is basically what Apple's original ideology was, which is like this is a human centric machine. This isn't even you really don't even want to consider it a machine. This is just a tool that you use for you. You know what I mean? And the guy Panay, he has the ability to sell that idea. I mean, he has the ability to push that ideology and say, this isn't a computer. This is a tool to get your job done.
There
I
you go.
mean, like this is not really tech, and to get that point across, I mean, it's worth a lot of money if you're talking about trying to keep them fresh in the industry because you know they got competitors. They got Apple on one side, and then they got Google trying to eat all their lunch with these Chromebooks. So like
Mm.
they got to push a new agenda, and they feel like going against the Apple agenda is a better idea than trying to just you know well, they kind of, I mean, they kind of, it's like they put in the Apple hardware and then all their software does very much resemble Google software right now. So that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they trying to be the best of both. They trying to be Google and Apple at the same time.
They're trying stuff out. They're learning from their competitors. They're modeling. There's something that it's
Yeah.
a common business practice where you're not directly copying.
Hmm.
Although some could argue that the new, they call it Microsoft Chrome, the new Edge
Yeah.
browser is
Yeah.
a direct copy. But I think it's smart what they're trying to do over there, having Panos Panay lead it. That they're modeling, analyzing what's happened over the past. They're preparing for the tech war.
Hmm.
The tech cold war. We talked about it before. That coming up, this is what they've seen. Where their competitors had excelled and they excelled as well, but they to crush the competition, they're going to build stronger weapons and not necessarily come directly at them, like a Cold War, but just look at what they got. And we're gonna build something stronger so they respect us more.
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
the direction. I like the direction.
Yeah. I mean, it's Microsoft. I use them from the beginning. I'm not going anywhere for a while.
Hmm.
I mean, I use Google. I use Linux. I'm a heavy Linux user, but when it comes to my home use, it's Microsoft for a lot of things. Um, Next article we're gonna finish this out. Last article, it's kind of eats away at the other article because, well, the
Yeah.
other article kind of eats away at this because, like we just said, Xbox's main competition is really Amazon and Google now. But this article is talking about how Xbox Series X versus the PlayStation 5 and how Microsoft has one pretty huge advantage over Sony right now.
Oh,
They have a
definitely.
couple huge advantages over Sony right now. I'm a Sony user. I'm a PlayStation user. I like my PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 3 was kind of iffy for me. I ain't gonna lie. PlayStation 4 was my joint. PlayStation 2 is where I grew up off of. PlayStation
Right.
1, that was all my do from jump.
PSX.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like
Right.
those was where it was at for real originally, and like the future of Sony is definitely in battles right now. Like I see Sony leaking out little tidbits of information about their PlayStation 5, but they definitely are like they're plotting and they're not letting anybody know what's going on until they ready to release, and they're doing it in a clean way, similar to like an Apple or not. Like they're holding everything in until they really got the right moment to actually let it all be told. And it's one of those things because Microsoft does have this advantage of, being a technology company beyond gaming and beyond entertainment.
Right.
Um, they have the cloud, they have the X Cloud, they have Microsoft Azure, and then they have X Cloud, which is technically a software platform that's built on top of Azure. Um, it's one of those things where like I mean, they have the Windows platform and everything. They sort of just surrounding Microsoft. Microsoft is surrounding PlayStation all around. It's just one of
Yeah.
those things.
They're planting seeds and all these other like things outside of just gaming that's really like going to help them like flourish and be
Yeah,
so much more stronger in the
yeah,
gaming industry. Yeah,
yeah,
and
and
I what I
it's kind of
noticed too.
scary.
Yeah, I know. So it's a whole it's so the reason why I agree with this statement, bro. Like when they're saying that basically the Series X is going
Mhm.
to has a couple of like you said, it's a couple of advantages. One of those, man, that I actually see, and I'm sitting there think about it. You can correct me if I'm wrong. This goes to anybody out there that's listening. Correct me if I'm wrong, man. But I've noticed that just like we were talking before, like just a couple minutes ago about how Microsoft is like kind of modeling what these other companies are doing. I
Mhm.
think that so over the course of the past 20 years, I can clearly point out several titles that were like exclusive to Microsoft that really like had the game on smash. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
even in the article, right? Like that we going back, they have a picture of Master Chief. Like that whole that Halo 1, 2, 3 like experience, like there was like exclusive for the Xbox is something that really put them like that really put
yeah.
their
I mean, that was definitely their champion
they
title.
carved their name. Yeah, they carved their name in the pavement and the
Hmm.
cement with that one. Like you really knew who my and there's several others with you got your Gears of
Gears of
War.
War.
And before that, I mean, the series kind of flopped now, but it was strong then.
Hmm.
Was Mass Effect. So it seemed
Oh
like
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
getting is that it seemed like
Mass Effect went
Microsoft.
cross-platform.
It
They
went at first. I know, but I think at first it was exclusive.
originally it
Yeah,
was Xbox. Yeah.
but then I guess the company, they try to scrape dollars from other places. But what I'm getting at
Hmm.
is I feel that Microsoft and their its conglomerate. I think that they have been watching a little bit of what Nintendo has done, and trying to find a way to model that as much as possible. Like, and I think within this past generation, I don't think it was that strong, but coming into the new year, I can new decade rather. I think that that's a route they could be going. It's like looking at how much exclusivity they can get on their platform because that's it. They also leaks over into the whole like I guess the Xbox game. What is it? The Xbox Gaming Pass is that they have so many games
Yeah,
to
yeah,
offer that can be just exclusive to the Xbox experience. That they have more power and have more season, like with being successful in that realm. That puts them definitely ahead. Like it's gonna make it a fight for PlayStation.
yeah. The Xbox Gaming Pass. I think that is really like it's the first step for X Cloud. Like X Cloud is the whole cloud gaming thing. Even though it's here and people can use it like it's still early. It's still like a beta age. I really don't think that's going to be a main thing until at least 2022, 2023. Technology is fast to adapt, but like
Yeah.
it's still not. It can't just jump in and just take over. It's one of those things where it has to grow in a business model and all of these other things. And in the meantime, the gaming pass is like the short step for real because you already have the store, and the Game Pass is really a model of what they did with with the mobile platforms with iOS and with Android.
Mm.
Um, they came out with these gaming passes. Well, with app passes. Apple came out with like a gaming pass where they call it. It's basically Apple Arcade, where you basically can download any
Yeah.
game that's in the App Store. And to rival that, Google had came out with some type of app pass where they just said a whole bunch of selected apps you can download at any free cost and for real. And it's the same model as this. I mean, they're trying to do the Netflix model. It's the all you can eat a la carte buffet model where you just subscribe and then you get
Pay your premium.
whatever's available. And
Mhm.
that's the step before before cloud gaming can take over where everything is streamable. Like right now, with this um, with this Game Pass, it still kind of feels like Netflix when you used to download when you used to buy DVDs when you would rent DVDs. When like you would order a DVD and it
Yeah.
gets shipped to your house. I mean, where the Game Pass is like you you get the game, but you still got to download it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you still got to download it, but the X Cloud is going to be the turnover with Netflix when Netflix just became all streaming, and it's going to be the same thing with X Cloud where it's going to just be like, all right, you just got the game, just press play and you start it, and like that crossover is already there. It's what I like for the gaming pass is that it's going to push Nintendo into coming up with some type of strategy because they have the PlayStation Now, which is a streaming game service, but they don't have a subscription model for the PlayStation Plus where you can get all you can eat,
Mhm.
and that's what they kind of need to be able to compete because Microsoft is at the point of giving away Xboxes. Like they out there saying, all right, you sign up with Game Pass and get that Game Pass Ultimate Pass, and we'll give you an Xbox, and you can just download these games when you get them. Like you used to buy a game for a console for $400. Now you just going to give it to me with a subscription. All right, that's a deal. I don't even care if I was a fan of PlayStation or not. That's a deal.
No, you
I
can't be.
mean,
Yeah, it's just the sheer like cost versus like the over. Like yeah, man.
yeah, you like, all right, for $20 I don't even know how much it is, but 25 $30. All right,
Right.
you gonna just give me an Xbox? All right, yeah, I'm doing this.
Cool.
Like, no matter what, that's just what it is
And
going to be. But like,
the reason why that's brilliant too is like from a business standpoint, like more so like to kind of looking at it from like an entrepreneurship business perspective is that be it that Microsoft has the stronger opportunity for like continuity, meaning that what people would pay on a month to month basis, they have more mass and probably can demand more dollars.
mhm,
Is that they have a constant flow of income, like revenue is being generated, that can be reinvested to make stuff like bigger even happen. So the fact that they have that in place already coming into this decade means that uh, PlayStation may have to do some, some tricks and flips and do some
yeah,
other
and
stuff to make that
and
happen because
that's
their constant flow is going to not only be like stronger, but then they can demand a higher price because of that too.
yeah, and that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see because they got so many people trying to come at their lunch at so many angles, and right now they happen to be the top spot when it comes to gaming. Even though Nintendo got its own dedicated fan base, PlayStation is the top selling console out there, and there's a lot of people looking to eat that lunch, and they'll strip Sony down to the bare nothing and then buy them out.
To the
And
gristle.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying this now is likely to happen. I mean, but
Right.
like it's likely to happen because Sony ain't playing with people right now, and that's not you. You want to partner with people right now, and they not partnering with the right people. Like the latest thing that they talked about was how PlayStation Now was going to be partnering with Microsoft X Cloud. Like you partner with your competition. I mean, you basically about to sell.
Could
Yeah, I
see,
mean,
man. Yeah.
so like that's just kind of a hard thing to it's kind of a hard thing to see because when you're a fanboy of Sony and shit. But like,
Yeah,
um,
I'm fanboy, you know.
yeah, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. I got my PlayStation out of the room. I'm kind of pissed, but like I'm
Mm,
seeing it. I see it writing on the wall, and like I'm a fan, and like I'm an early adopter of technology, so I see the stuff a little bit earlier than the general base of
mm,
PlayStation fans. I mean, that's just like I'm just a gamer, and they not really looking at the industry. But right now, Sony is they keeping their mouth quiet on what they got planned, and they'll let it be known when they let it be known. Like I think it's gonna happen at the E3 conference, but
mhm.
who knows? I mean, they might come out and don't nobody like anything they got to hear. Yeah, I mean, if they whatever they got to say, people might not like it. So we'll see.
I, yeah, it'll see. I think that what could man, it seems this almost seems trivial in the sense of what we've been talking about. What I'm about to say, as far as how Microsoft and these other companies position themselves with like the technologies of the cloud and all that. But I think at its core, if PlayStation does an excellent job delivering like gaming experiences that's exclusive to PlayStation, that's like groundbreaking and market them properly, that could get because it's gaming at the end of the day. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Of course, you have other your ways to get to it, but then you have things where regardless, you have a fan base where regardless of how you deliver it, because of their loyalty to that to you as well as like their buy-in with your product, they'll go to those lengths in order to get it.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
you
and
have people
that's like
that
Sony. That's like Nintendo. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Like I want to see what they do because that's why they keeping it under wraps, and I want to see what they got to say because I mean that's the technology, that's the Nintendo route. There's only things that can only be done on Nintendo in the first place.
right.
I mean, so like with the way that their controllers are set up and everything, like you can only do certain things on a Nintendo, and that's probably going to be a similar thing that they start doing with PlayStation. Is like, yeah, everybody else got the general base games, but it's just some games that you only gonna be able to do on this on a PlayStation,
Straight up.
and that's what I want to see what they plot on in the next couple of years in the next 6 months as they release more information about the PlayStation 5, and then as it's actually comes out and people start using it.
Mm.
But yeah, man, that's it. That's all I wanted to say about that. There's a lot of topics on here. We can only get to so many at a time. We could be talking about this stuff for hours.
Yeah.
Um, but if y'all like this show, y'all need to go ahead and do the damn thing. Go ahead and go to like the YouTubes and the Twitters and well, no, not Twitter. I still don't like Twitter. I mean, I like it for other reasons, but not for marketing purposes. Not for marketing. But go ahead, you hit the Facebook, hit the YouTube. On the podcast purposes, we're on all the things. We're on the Spotify. We're on the YouTube. You're on the Google Music, iTunes, all those things. Just Google us. You'll find us. Um, more information coming up. More people. We got a couple people that are going to be on guest show in the next couple weeks. I just got to schedule them. I keep forgetting to
Yeah.
schedule. Um, but yeah, man, you got anything to say on there?
Nah, man. I mean, you said everything. You hit the nail on the head, Mike. You can find us on all the social medias and all the podcasts, primarily, man. Your Twitches, your Google Music, Apple Podcasts, man. We there. So just Google us. It's funny you say that, right? You can Google us for Apple.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But, you know what I mean? But yeah, like Mike said, man, and just leave a comment below. Make sure you follow us, put the alerts up, man, to see what we got going on, and we got some hot shit coming your way, pretty much.
Yeah, take it easy, people.
All right, man. Y'all take care. Peace.
Peace.